What's going on, guys? We have Laura, Trump, and Donald Trump on the Iran war. Anyone who knows me knows I don't support this war. It is Israel's war, but as we know, Israel runs this administration. Please like, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys are having a blessed weekend with you and your loved ones. Let's get it.
For welcoming us back here to the White House.
Thank you.
One of the things that I think everybody wants to talk about with you is Iran. Obviously, I know it's top of mind for you. You have actually said you either want a good deal or no deal at all with Iran. So what does a good deal look like for you?
Well, first of all, there's no deal that's good enough because the media will cover it. We're making a great deal. We're going to make it a great deal. Or we'll just go back and finish it off militarily.
It's going to be hard. I used to love how confident he is. Now I just take it as he's a narcissist who only cares about himself. But as we know, they've said 20 different times that there's a war. Tongue-tied, that there was a deal on the table. And every single time Iran said that's not true. This administration is lying. I voted for him, but I am man enough and adult enough to own up to my F-ups. He is terrible, and he lies 24/7. Two wings of the same bird. It's going to be hard not to pause it, but I'm going to try to let him talk through most of this video. We're going to debunk his lies, though, but we know there's going to be a lot of lies.
But this would go faster. It's probably better on a humane standpoint. There's something nice about it also. You save a lot of lives. Whether it's the other side or not, you save a lot of lives. But we're close to a very good deal, and if we can make it good, otherwise we just start up with the Department of War, as we call it. And it's been very successful. You saw Venezuela. It was a one-day win, and this is really a win already. We've defeated their military.
Iran is not Venezuela, you idiot. Much bigger.
Essentially defeated their military. I would rather get a deal because we can open the strait immediately upon signing. The one guarantee that
Hold up. He's talking about opening the Strait of Hormuz, which was already open before we bombed Iran for Israel's behalf. This is such a joke. Oh, we're going to open the Strait of Hormuz. Bro, it was open before you bombed Iran. You caused this, but they're going to continue to spin it and act like it's Iran that started this war. And they're going to feed us the same talking points that they fed the Americans during the Iraq war. Same exact things. Yet Israel has nukes and he will say nothing about it. Watch.
Is that there will be no nuclear weapons. They've agreed to that. And it was very interesting. They originally said, we will not develop a nuclear weapon. I said, well, what happens if you buy a nuclear weapon? So now it says we will not develop or in any way purchase a military weapon. That's a big difference. So we're getting what we want slowly. Very tough negotiators.
No one's buying this.
It takes a long time. I'm in no hurry. I'd like to say I'm in a hurry because, gasoline prices are going to come tumbling down. But if you're going to be in a hurry.
Also, last week, Trump said on record that American people aren't even one of the first things that pops in his minds in regards to his actions on the Iran war. For example, we as Americans are paying very high gas prices. He doesn't care because it is worth us paying more for gas that Iran doesn't have nukes. Even though Israel has nukes and Israel is committing genocide in more than one foreign country right now, also Lebanon, Gaza, Iran. I mean, Israel's out of control and they say nothing about it. They just keep twisting the narrative, feeding us these BS lies, and no one's buying it.
Going to make a good deal. And slowly but surely we're getting, I think, what we want. And if we don't get what we want, we're going to end it a different way.
So that's interesting because I think everyone has acknowledged that the United States has been in a defensive position against Iran. They've been aggressive to some extent, and we've been defensive. Is there a line that they would cross for you to go on the offensive again militarily?
Well, a deal that wasn't going
Also, I know I keep pausing, sorry. It's amazing that they say that they can't have nukes as we nuke and bomb their people and kill over 100 innocent schoolgirls or children out of school and then lie about it and then say, you guys can't bomb us or attack anyone, but we're going to continue to bomb and attack you guys. How can you expect them to just sit by there as you kill their people? It doesn't make any sense to me, this thought process.
Be good for us is the line ultimately, because, I'm playing it out and we're going to see. And that's what I do. I negotiate. They negotiate. They're very good negotiators. They're crafty. But in the end, we have all the cards because we've defeated them militarily. Look, they have no Navy. Every ship, they have 159 ships. Every one of them are at the bottom of the sea. Why
are they controlling the Strait of Hormuz then, where previously they weren't? This dude's an idiot.
Single one. We take pictures of them. We have people going down taking pictures of hundreds of ships. Their Navy is totally gone, 100%. Their Air Force is totally gone, 100%. Their military, we've sort of left it alone because we think that their military is somewhat moderate. They have other people that aren't moderate. We've taken them out. We've taken different forms of leadership out. We've actually left their military alone. People would be surprised to hear that, because mistakes have been made in wars where you wipe out everybody and then you have a country that's, for 40 years can never rebuild. You look at what happened with Iraq. We did so bad.
I love that he's bringing up Iraq, because I was just speaking on this. They are giving us and feeding us the same talking points and propaganda that they fed during the Iraq War to a T. Or should I call him Satan Yahoo, has been on record for 30 plus years saying all these Middle Eastern countries are weeks away from nukes, and then they proceed to show us zero proof of these nukes. Just like when it comes to bombing ships or boats, and then proceeding to show us zero proof that these were in fact criminals. They are committing acts of actual genocide. And I never used that word, but now these days, genocide all over, it seems. And sadly, Israel's the ones committing it, and we are the puppets, and they're the puppet masters.
It was such a foolish thing, what we did. Shouldn't have been there in the first place, by the way. And shouldn't have been in Iran. But Iran has the capability. If we didn't hit them with the B-2 bombers 9 months ago, they would have a nuclear weapon right now, and it would be a whole different story. Probably would have used it. You probably wouldn't have had you wouldn't have had Israel, but you probably wouldn't have had a Middle East. And then where do they go from there?
He said we took out their whole entire nuclear capabilities when we bombed them. This doesn't even make sense.
And you get to see that when you see that when we went back, they had missiles aimed at Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, Bahrain. They all got hit. And we were surprised. I was surprised. Actually, I viewed it as a positive because all those people came immediately to our side. They got hit. Now, they could have taken another view. They could have said, well, we want no part of it. Not that they like it, but they came to our side. And Iran is in a very bad position. They have no military. All they have is good talk, and they have a fake press. The fake news is probably their biggest asset. And I put something out on Truth the other day that I think was very profound. It said that we wipe out their military, we wipe out their Navy, their Air Force, their anti-aircraft, we wipe out everything, we wipe out their leadership, and then we wipe out their leadership a second time. And then at 2.5 times, we're dealing with the other half. And by the way, they're much more reasonable, and you could say that's regime change. But I said, so
imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
If I recall, didn't Trump run on no regime changes and no wars and no going into Middle Eastern countries and using our taxes to fund all this BS? And now that is exactly what we've been doing for the whole administration. Can't believe I actually used to respect this guy. This dude is such a joke of a man. Him and his whole family, to be frank. Look how his friend, or his son, Donald Trump Jr., who she just married into, she married into the Epstein family. His new wife, her father was Epstein's accountant. They always keep it in the family. They keep it close with these elites. Ugh, it's disgusting.
Then raise the white flag of surrender. We give up to the great American military, the most powerful military. We give up, we give up, we give up. The New York Times would say, Iran has fought bravely and has defeated the United States of America. I mean, the coverage is so bad. You have a big win in a battle, and they say you lost. You knock out their entire Navy, and they say their Navy's doing fantastically. No, it was defeated, totally defeated. And they said, it's just a terrible thing for our country. And, to really be great, you need a fair media. And we don't have a fair media. I mean, that's all they can do is lie.
Well, that's
they
the
have
Democrats.
No policy.
They have nothing to go on.
They're Democrats, okay? Yeah. They have no policy. We have a new name for them, Democrats. I call them, I will always call them until they straighten up, Democrats, because they want women to be...
That doesn't work anymore. I'm sorry. I understand that used to be a big issue for me, but my issue is killing innocent people and having Americans go into Middle Eastern countries to kill innocent people. We don't need that anymore. How about less spending? That should be a priority. You walked back on that. How about Maha, where they're poisoning us in the sky, the food, everything that we consumed? You walked back on that. regime changes and wars, walked back on that. Accountability, walked back on that. I mean, protecting the food here in America and putting America first, or how about gas and oil? Nope, you walk back on that. The gas and oil that we apparently got from Venezuela when you did a regime change, which you ran on nut doing, actually you gave all that to Israel, and actually they are literally merging U.S. military with Israel military. And I'm going to show you a video after this. It's going to blow your guys' minds, but they're about to merge the two. And anyone who criticizes Israel, they're going to label you as a domestic terrorist. This administration is owned by Israel 100%. Fuck Donald Trump. I'm sorry I said it, but fuck him.
Put in danger by having men play in women's sports. Think of it. They want the transgender mutilization of your children. They want open borders. We want open borders. They want high taxes. You know, they voted against the tax cuts. They voted against no taxes on tips. They voted against no taxes on Social Security. They voted against no taxes on overtime. These have been so important.
All right. So if you're going to call them out, why don't you eliminate taxes? What about the Doge custer checks that you walked back on as well? This is clown shit right now that I'm hearing.
But the Democrats voted against all of that. But we call them Democrats, and it works out well because I take the word dumb, take the B off, because most people don't know that, you know, dumb ends with a B, but most people don't know. And all I do is I switch the E with a U, and you have a Democrat. And I came up with that by watching Hakeem Jeffries, because he's a dumb person. And I said, he's really dumb. I said, wait a minute, he's a Democrat. So I think it works. I don't know that it's going to be as good as Pocahontas or fake news or so many of the others that we've come up with. But I mean, I'm going to just call them Democrats, because I don't understand how they can be so stupid.
I'd imagine if you could have timed things perfectly, having a conflict just in front of the midterm elections.
Democrats, while you continue to protect the pedophiles on both sides of the political aisle that run our country, you are dumb, sir.
Time like this isn't ideal. You acknowledge the high gas prices. You have consistently been willing to do the hard things, the things that your predecessor said should have been done, but they didn't have the guts to do them. You have taken them on, and Iran is a great example of that.
Well, you have a problem, you know, a structural problem, because you have the midterms, you have the elections. Well, that's going to go on for hundreds of years.
Ex-Republican was huge MAGA. I'm sorry, but the Democrats are going to put an ass whooping on the GOP in the midterms. Everyone that I know who voted for Trump in the GOP, I mean, I'm talking about locally, people that I'm close to, who I talk to every day, they're not voting. Myself and they are pissed like no other of how this administration has taken place. I've already named probably about 12 things that he's walked back on when it comes to the most important things that we have to deal with and worry about in our everyday lives. Trump's main focus is Iran not having nukes, even though they haven't attacked us at all at home. So again, why are we fighting this war while our taxes fund the war and we're paying more with gas? So we're getting double taxed. Our taxes are funding the war and we're paying more for gas because of the war.
2 years. So you have really a very small window. So if you wanted to play that game, then you would wait till the midterms are over. And then the following hour, you'll attack Iran, because they cannot have a nuclear weapon. Most people agree with me on that. But then it gets maybe carried into, you know, the next election, whether it's a midterm or not. So you have a very short window for doing anything having to do with war. But I don't view that window. I view it, I have to do what's right. When I attacked Venezuela, it was really, I was hit hard. Now, I did that because of what they've done to our country in terms of sending prisoners in and drugs in and all the other stuff.
Venezuela should have been the last country on his list. If you want to send a message, why don't you send it to the cartel who are trafficking millions of people across our border, where the fentanyl is coming from China, trafficked through the cartels? You ever think about maybe doing that instead? No, he took the easiest target to try to make him look like a boss, when in reality it made him look weak, because he ran on he walked back from his campaign promises, which is no foreign entanglements, no regime changes, no wars.
You know, we have drugs down 97%, fentanyl and various drugs down 97% on drugs coming in by water. Now we're starting the land, and it's going to be it's actually easier. The land is much easier. You know, the drug boats that are for the most part, no longer with us. In fact, the 3%, we're trying to figure out who would do that. I mean, they obviously don't watch television or don't watch the news, but that was very unpopular. As soon as I won, it became unbelievably popular. Well, we're winning Iran. It's a total win for us. I mean, we had to do it. Look, two things with it. Number one, the Strait has to be opened immediately and has to be free, no tolls.
The Strait was open until you and Israel attacked them.
Et cetera, et cetera. And number two is they can't have a nuclear weapon. That's all there is. It's very simple. And then we're going to get out of there. And we don't need the Strait. You know, we don't need it because we have more. So we produce.
Then why are we in this war?
We produce more oil than Saudi Arabia and Russia combined ×2. Think of that. We're double what they do. Add Saudi Arabia and Russia, multiply it ×2. And we're going to be much higher. We're the oil superpower, far greater than even Saudi Arabia, even Russia. But you add them up. These are two big monsters. You add them up, and we double it. We have a great country. We've had tremendous success.
No, you haven't.
Done things that are unbelievable. And I have tremendous support from Republicans. I mean, I never get support from Democrats. They won't. It's a different world than it was. It used to be they'd get together, they'd have lunch, they'd fight a little bit, they'd have bipartisan. I'm not sure that's possible because everything's so different.
No, it's because we live in a 24/7 news, bubble, and you're not able to lie anymore. And people are waking up in record numbers and realizing that both political aisles, both sides, are owned by Israel and foreign interests. And they're also owned by big business as well. The big app owners, AI, Peter Thiel, for example, who groomed J.D. Vance when he was younger. They say nothing about that. This administration sold out like every other administration. We need new leaders. We need young with, fucking guts leaders. These people just sell out for the nickel of a dime, and it's so infuriating at this point.
I want closed borders. I want people coming in legally. They want open borders. They want every criminal in the world to pour into our country. There are 25 million people, many of whom were criminals. 11,888 were murderers. Most of them committed more than one murder. I don't want them in our country. I'm sorry. And, so there are things like transgender mutilization of your children. They want that.
I agree that's an issue. And if you're not an adult, you should not get that down. But that is not the number one issue. When you are literally protecting pedophile Satan worshipers who sacrifice children, nothing else matters after that of what you say because you're covering up for it.
They want men to play in women's sports. They want all these things. So I don't know. People say, can you ever get together? I don't know. I mean, the policies are so different. I want borders. They don't want borders. They want to get rid of, they want to get rid of your Second Amendment. I have to protect the Second Amendment. Then I have protected it. But we've done a lot. We've done really a lot. And more people are working in the United States right now than at any time ever before. We have more people working. We have $18 trillion, as you've heard many times. I say it all the time. Now, I haven't included the 12th month, but for 11 months, we have 18 trillion with a T, coming into our country. Biden,
where's the money? Where's the money? Where's the Doge checks? I mean, you're sending billions to other countries still. I mean, how many billions have we already sent to Israel? How many billions have we wasted on bombs and ammunition, sending our military to fight this war for Israel? So it hasn't gotten easier. This dude is such a bold-faced liar, and I can't believe I ever supported this piece of trash.
A lot less than 1 trillion. And I will say this, if they won this election, I don't think we'd have a country anymore.
Be sure to like and subscribe.
The streets of Tehran appear.
This is just very embarrassing at this point that anyone can take this guy seriously, the Republican Party seriously, or the Democrat Party seriously. Two wings of the same bird. Now, while we're on topic of Iran and, treason, let's see what this guy say. He makes a very good point.
Wouldn't it be crazy if former OAN Pentagon correspondent Gabriel Cuccia has come forward with a bunch of leaked documents revealing, basically it alleges that Twitter execs and IDF commanders were working with the White House to label American dissidents as foreign propaganda. Nice. Basically lays out a massively privately funded domestic intelligence operation working directly with the current White House. IDF. Is that not treason? What is the definition of treason at this point? Zach Zachapira who was a former Twitter trusted safety executive and a former IDF commander, is the guy writing the White House's internal intelligence briefs, bro. Like, and basically they're calling creators like me, they're trying to label us as Chinese or Russian or even Mossad. It's like hilarious. Wouldn't it be crazy if...
That's treason, guys. They are literally selling us out. I mean, look what they're doing with these data centers or AI. I mean, you had Peter Thiel literally, what was it, last weekend, moving him and his family to Argentina because they know something is coming soon, and they know normal people like us who aren't multi-billionaires and own these, these $1 million multi-mansions. We're screwed if something happens, and I think it's our government, our own government in the U.S. that is going to try to do this. And just be aware, be educated, make sure you stay educated, and be aware of your surroundings. Listen to independent voices. This guy also exposes this administration's corruption, Trump specifically.
Just imagine a president, a Democratic president that's not Donald Trump. 4 days before they're inaugurated as president, they create a new company, and into that company flows hundreds of billions of dollars or billions of dollars from the very countries that'll be most affected by that president's foreign policy. That wouldn't concern you at all? You don't think there's anything disconcerting about that?
Be a suspicion, but I'm not going to make a claim that he's corrupt, and that's the claim that you're making right now.
Because everything that Trump has done since then has benefited those very countries that enriched his family so greatly with billions of dollars in personal...
Remember in 2016, Marco Rubio's biggest donor was the Adelsons, and Trump clowned on him, saying, you need your donors to get where you're at. I have my own money. I don't need any overseas donors. No one controls me. Guess who Trump's biggest donor is to current date? That exact person he called out Marco Rubio for, the Adelsons.
Well, so every single thing that he's done. And not only that, but the Saudi investment in Jared Kushner's fund,
negatively affects the UAE. But the Iran war negatively affects the UAE, right? And Donald Trump somewhat
the UAE is thrilled with the Iran war. As people said earlier,
they're having shit fall on their cities.
The UAE,
they're having shrapnel fall on their.
The UAE hates Iran. They're encouraging Iran. They're encouraging Trump to continue. They want regime change. They despise Iran. So do the Saudis. This war is done. Trump would never have done this war without those very countries with whom he's closest, which coincidentally has also poured billions of dollars in personal wealth into his family. If that isn't corruption, I don't know what is. And all of you thought that what Hunter Biden did, which was on a much smaller scale, you all thought that was corruption. I did too, because I'm actually consistent. I don't change my principles based on which party is in office. It's the same exact transaction, only as Andy McCarthy said, the longtime conservative prosecutor, in order to compare Trump's kids and Biden's kids, you have to add 2 zeros to what Trump's kids are doing.
All right,
that's what you call, bam, mic drop. And that's what I love about, people like Glenn Greenwald. He voted for Trump. I voted for Trump. But you know what? I've been calling out the last administration, the previous administration, and this administration across the board, because you cannot call out the Democrats and say, oh, they're so shitty for doing this, this, and this, and then overlook everything that the GOP and the Trump administration has done. You have to be fair. You can't be biased, or you just come across as not authentic. You come across as fake. And that is not what I'm going to do on this show. But yes, Glenn Greenwald hits a great point. They're just as corrupt, actually more than the last administration. They were bitching and crying about Hunter Biden, while you have Trump and his own family getting much more rich under this previous administration. So it's always a double standard, whoever sides in power. I don't play that game. I call out both sides across the board. I call out all corruption, because that's what we need to do. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you on the next one. Have a blessed night. Peace.